Okay. Yeah. So basically, you just want to play the Alabama football diss track on SportsCenter and then potentially play a short clip of it before kickoff on Saturday. Yeah, no big deal. That's awesome. I mean, who would say no to ESPN, right? That's a big deal. But well, actually, if you are going to play it, I would like for you, after it's done, to put up a clip or a video of an elephant stumbling or maybe falling down, and then actually have it pop up and play the GIF that Kane's Cartel created for me that's floating around on Twitter, and then have it say, "We ain't scared of you." Yeah, I'm serious. I see. So you won't do that. Okay. No deal then. You can't use it. What's going on, Canes fans? And let's go ahead and give a nice warm welcome to the Alabama fans as well, because you know that they'll be throwing Roll Tide down in the comment section. Man, oh man, college football is back, and what a wild week this has been already. Apparently, Alabama fans are coming for my neck at the game in Atlanta after my diss track kind of blew up a little bit on Twitter. I did interviews with lots of newspapers, multiple websites, and even a few major sports networks. But anyways, that's in the past. That was a couple days ago, right? Let's get down into the nitty-gritty and actually talk about this football game. If you're new here, make sure that you watch this video until the end to see my official score prediction. And yes, I am sporting my hater blockers for this entire preview video because, like I said, those Alabama fans are crazy. But one quick announcement before we get started. The live call-in streams are officially back. Now that college football is kicking off, I'm excited to take your phone calls once again this Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Be here live on the Coach Coop YouTube channel. You guys can all call in. We'll talk about the Miami-Alabama game, and there will be a little bit of a twist this time. I want you to call in and give your score prediction, and if you get it right, you will win $100 cash. Yes, I'm not kidding. You just call in, give your score prediction. It's that simple. You could win $100. But with all that out of the way, let's finally get into this thing. Now let's go ahead and just address the elephant in the room. What? It was a good joke. The Alabama Crimson Tide is a good football team. They are a powerhouse program. They talk a lot of smack, and you know what? They back it up. Let's be very clear here. Miami is the underdog in this matchup, and many fans, both Miami and Alabama, believe that it will take an absolute miracle for the Canes to even keep this game within 3 touchdowns. This is the money season for head coach Manny Diaz. Year 3. It's time to put up or shut up, because this will easily be the most talented and experienced team that Miami's had in quite a long time. Now, Alabama, on the other hand, while still being stacked with talent, is lacking in the experience department. The Tide have a lot of new, young players that don't have a lot of college football game time experience, and they've also got a lot of new faces on the coaching staff as well. But let's take a minute and talk briefly about the history between these two teams. Miami and Alabama have faced off 17 times in total, with Bama leading that series by a whopping 14-3. Their most recent matchup was way back in 1993 in the Sugar Bowl. I was literally still in diapers. Alabama did end up winning that matchup 34-13, and the most notable play from that game that everyone keeps sending me clips of is when George Teague stripped the ball from Lamar Thomas on what should have been an easy touchdown. And speaking of George Teague, he actually saw the diss track that I uploaded on Twitter, and he commented on it and talked some smack and threw some shade at me and the Miami Hurricanes. But at the end of the day, that was 28 years ago. This is 2021. We're talking about right now, this Saturday. And typically at this point in the video, I like to take a few minutes and discuss the overall average stats for both teams so far in the season, but this is game number 1 for both Alabama and Miami. So what we're going to do is I'm going to transition over to 3 keys to a victory for both of these teams. And just keep in mind that these are just 3 key points that stand out to me personally. There are way more than 3 things that each of these teams need to do to win the game, but these are just 3 that stand out and are important in my opinion to me personally. So let's go ahead and kick it off. Number 1, the Crimson Tide need to take advantage of their dynamic and explosive punt returners. It could possibly take a little bit for Alabama to get this offense rolling. I mean, you have a young, inexperienced quarterback. You have a new guy calling plays. So a big punt return or a punt return for a touchdown would actually be huge for the Crimson Tide in this game and could give them a big boost. Alabama picked up the Ohio State transfer Williams. They have JoJo Earl. You have Bolden back there that might be able to return some punts, so they have some very serious threats on special teams. Number 2, Alabama will need to take advantage of Miami's lightweights at linebacker. And when I say lightweights, I mean quite literally, as in Miami is a little small currently at that position. Bama has some big boys at running back that most likely will pretty often be able to get to that second level of the defense. So, that one could be bad for us, good for them. And lastly, for the Crimson Tide, and I realize that this is probably the most obvious one, but it might even be the biggest point for them. Alabama must find a way to contain quarterback D'Eriq King. King is a true dual threat that is very elusive, and even though he's coming off of this very bad knee injury, reports have came out that he looks 100% and ready to go. And he showed a little taste of what he's capable of last season. So Alabama is really going to have to find a way, most importantly for them, I feel like, to find a way to stop him on third downs. And now let's move on and talk about our beloved Miami Hurricanes. What are 3 points, 3 keys to a victory for them in this matchup? Number 1, start fast and finish even stronger. We can't wait until the second half of the ball game to start going 100% in scoring points. We can't wait until the 4th quarter and let it come down to the wire, and we need to put together some crazy touchdown drive and then get an onside kick that needs to be a field goal or another touchdown or any of that nonsense. We need to play 100% for 4 quarters of football. Number 2, we cannot afford to play conservatively on either side of the ball. And maybe you could kind of tie that in with the first point of going 100% for 4 quarters. But more importantly, I'm talking about the play calling specifically. And on defense, we need to, I personally feel like, bring pressure, but also consistently win those one-on-one battles on the outside, because I feel like a lot of times with us, it's one or the other. And this game is going to have to be both. And luckily for us, when it comes to talking pressure on defense, Manny tends to be that kind of play caller. He's a high risk, high reward kind of guy. And for this game against Alabama, week number 1, when they have some question marks on offense and they're trying to work out some kinks, I like that. But the same also goes for the offense as well and Rhett Lashley's play calling. We cannot play conservative. We need our foot on the gas, up tempo, all 4 quarters. And lastly, take advantage of our tight ends and attack the middle of the field. I feel like this is a vulnerable spot for Alabama. I know that their fans are all hyped up on their linebackers and stuff, but we have spent all off season talking and getting hyped up about Mallory and Arroyo, and I think that these guys could have a huge game against Alabama, especially on third downs. We need to be looking to target those guys, and I think that they could actually be a game changer, quite literally a game changer in this matchup if we consistently look for those guys. Well, the part of the video you've all been waiting for. My official score prediction for the game. But first, before we get into it, just like old times, we always have to take a look at the ESPN matchup predictor. Somewhere over here, probably right over here. They have Alabama's win percentage chance coming into this game at 80.4% and the Miami Hurricanes at a measly 19.6%. So, as we already knew, Miami going into this game as the underdogs in Atlanta. And you know what? We kind of like it that way. So, what is my official score prediction for this game? I've talked a ton of smack to Bama fans this past week, but what they probably don't know is that in my preseason prediction a month or two ago, I actually gave Miami a loss in this game against Alabama. So have I changed my mind? We're talking game week right now. This is the one that actually officially counts. At the end of this game, I have the Alabama Crimson Tide putting up 34 points. And the Miami Hurricanes putting up 38 points to get the dub in Atlanta. I am going to tell my grandkids about this game. I will be telling them that I was there and I witnessed the Miami Hurricanes take down the #1 big bad Alabama Crimson Tide. I will see you in Atlanta. And you know what? I have some inside information, some stuff that hasn't been released out to the public that really makes me confident in this prediction. And it's that Nick Saban is actually